No, thank you very much, President. I want to say that I'm very pleased to have such an opportunity to discuss with you and dear Rector Capello Agil, dear Professor Pinto de Albuquerque, and dear President Marcus, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very pleased again to see that we have a real commitment of many different actors to promote, to defend, to protect the rule of law. And I would like to thank MEDEL and the Portuguese Catholic University for organizing this conference. It's a great honor for me to take part today. This type of initiative plays an important part in fostering and promoting a rule of law culture. It's our main goal with the rule of law report, to try to develop such a culture everywhere in Europe. Democracy, the rule of law and fundamental rights are the building blocks of the European Union. The rule of law fulfills a special function when it comes to the values of the EU enshrined in the Article 2 of the treaty. To put it in the words of our President Ursula von der Leyen, it is the glue that binds our union together. It guarantees the protection of all other fundamental values on which our union is founded. It also plays a crucial role for the functioning of the European Union, ensuring that member states and their citizens can work together in a spirit of mutual trust. Trust in public institutions, including in the justice system, is indispensable for the functioning of democratic societies. Under the rule of law, all public powers act on the basis and within the constraints set out by law, in accordance with the values of democracy and fundamental rights. It also requires that exercise of such powers must be subject to review by independent and impartial courts irrespective of political majorities. But in Europe, over the past years, we have seen the erosion of some of our values in certain member states. It shows that respect for the rule of law cannot be taken for granted, even within the European Union. To address these challenges, we have gradually developed and deployed a variety of instruments. And in 2020, a new tool was added to our rule of law toolbox, the annual rule of law report. I'm very proud to have to present the rule of law report to the Commission and then to the external world. It is conceived as a yearly process and aims at preventing problems from emerging or deepening. It also allows member states to learn from each other through an exchange of best practices. On the 20th of July 2021, the Commission adopted the second annual rule of law report. This new edition further deepens the Commission's assessment. In particular, it follows up on the challenges that the first report identified and those arising from the COVID-19 pandemic. To prepare this report, we have collected written input from all member states and received over 200 written contributions from a large range of stakeholders. We also conducted virtual country visits, during which we had over 400 meetings with national authorities, independent bodies, and stakeholders. And this is crucial for deepening our country-specific knowledge. I would like to thank MEDEL for its important contribution to the stakeholder consultation, and I invite you to take part in the consultation for the 2022 report, which is ongoing till in the actual phase, the 24th of January. As of next year, our report will also come with specific recommendations to member states. It's quite new. It will be easier for the follow-up of the rule of law report to transfer our actual conclusions in real recommendations of the Commission. It is important to make the best use of this report as a basis for a genuine dialogue on the rule of law with a wide variety of actors, both at EU and national level. We expect the finding of the 2021 report to further feed into discussions between member states as they work to strengthen the rule of law. and there is a political will to do this. I welcome that the Portuguese and the Slovenian presidencies have continued the dialogue on the basis of the rule of law report in the General Affairs Council, with an horizontal discussion in October and a country-specific discussion on 5 member states in November. I'm counting on future Council presidencies to continue this approach. We have already discussed with the French presidency to do that in the first part of next year. We also want the report to stimulate debate on national level. In this context, the engagement with parliaments is particularly important for the Commission. I have presented the first annual rule of law report in many national parliaments, and it was by video due to the pandemic, and I will continue to do this, but in presence, also for the second report. Most recently, I've been to Vienna, Budapest, Luxembourg, Warsaw, or Paris. I also held many exchanges with other stakeholders, including representatives of the judiciary and civil society organizations as part of these visits. They also have a vital role to play by fostering discussions on the rule of law and explaining its importance to citizens. They can help build a rule of law culture in the Union. We need to explain how it's important to protect the rule of law and to promote the rule of law for the daily life of all the citizens and the businesses in the European Union. I know that this is a challenge, and it will require the commitment of all public institutions as well as society at large. Improving our knowledge of what is happening in all member states is crucial for making the best possible use of our rule of law toolbox. I assure you that the Commission remains fully committed to making use of all the tools at its disposal as necessary to promote and uphold the rule of law. Where critical situations have an impact on the judicial independence or the independence of regulatory authorities in a member state, the Commission can launch infringement proceedings against a member state. This is what we have done in the case of Poland, for example, very recently, and of course the Commission will not hesitate to take further action to launch infringement proceedings in order to uphold the rule of law and judicial independence. We have also asked some daily financial sanctions where it was needed due to a lack of implementation of the decision of the European Court of Justice. It was the case again in Poland in relation with the disciplinary regime of the judges, and we have seen it was impossible for the Polish authorities to apply the interim measures decided in last July by the Court of Justice. So we have asked to the Court of Justice to impose daily financial sanction. As you have seen, it was the case with a sanction of €1 million a day to force the execution of the decision. In recent years, we have also deployed other instruments, including measures under the European semester, the annual cycle for aligning economic and fiscal policies in the Union. In this context, the Commission has made several country-specific recommendations on justice reforms in some member states, which were then adopted by the Council. Member states should address these recommendations in their national recovery and resilience plans. These plans set out the reforms and investment they wish to implement when spending funds from the EU's €670 billion recovery and resilience facility. And we continue to discuss with some member states about the necessary reform before to approve the plans. We are in discussion till now with Hungary and Poland about the possible reforms that is needed to put into place before to approve a plan. Since January this year, we also have the new rule of law conditionality regulation. This is an important achievement. For the first time, the Union will be able to protect its budget from breaches of the rule of law. This regulation complements other procedures to protect the EU budget under the EU law, including OLAF and EPPO's investigations. You know that the European Public Prosecutor Office is in operations since the 1st of June this year, And I'm very pleased to see that we have a good functioning of the European Public Prosecutor Office to protect the budget, but we have also the Commission, the conditionality regime, and the Commission will use the conditionality regime if and when all conditions for its application are met to protect the EU budget. We are fully committed to enforcing the regulation and are actively working on its concrete implementation. We have started with some administrative letters sent to Hungary and Poland, and will continue after maybe a decision of the Court of Justice about the regulation itself, because we have seen an action from Hungary and Poland before the court, but you have seen maybe that the proposal of the Advocate General was to reject the action coming from Hungary and Poland, so we have a good conviction that it will be possible to go further with the regulation next year. The Commission, as guardian of the treaties, has a special responsibility, and we will act whenever our common values are put at risk. But promoting and upholding the rule of law is also a common responsibility, and there is work for everyone to do. This is why the rule of law is also an important topic of discussion in the context of the Conference on the Future of Europe. We need to have this open discussion among European citizens to explore ways to strengthen the rule of law in our Union. All EU institutions, member states institutions and authorities, courts, civil society organizations and academia also have their role to play in this context. And I want to thank you for your engagement, not only in the EU but also outside, because if we are doing the job in the European Union, we become to be more credible to discuss about the rule of law, democracy and fundamental rights out of the European Union. We are doing that with the candidate countries like the Western Balkans. I'm very pleased to see some judges from Turkey taking part in your discussions, because, of course, if we are doing our job in the European Union, we will be able to discuss with different third countries about the rule of law and the fundamental rights and democracy, I said. And it's very important to organize a very good process about that. And it's why we are discussing now with some like-minded partners to go in the same direction in the different multilateral fora where it's possible to discuss about the rule of law. But again, I thank you for your engagement about the rule of law in the EU and outside, and I continue to count on your support, maybe on your participation in the preparation of the 2022 Rule of Law report and the next editions, because it's become to be a real cycle, and we want to be sure that the civil society is taking part in the preparation of the report, but also in the follow-up of the report. So thank you again for your attention, but certainly for your commitment to work with us about the promotion of a real rule of law culture in the entire European Union.